This classic podcast, though, is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. The best way to think about therapy? Through a bunch of analogies. We get our cars tuned up to prevent bigger issues from developing. We get annual checkups. We go to the gym to maintain physical wellness, prevent injury. And we do chores regularly, some more than others, to avoid a giant mess in our house. No one wants that clutter. Well, it turns out going to therapy, it's like all of these. It's routine maintenance for your mental and emotional wellness to prevent bigger issues down the road. Going to therapy doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you're investing in yourself to keep your mind healthy. BetterHelp is personalized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Why invest in everything else but not your mind? This pod is sponsored by BetterHelp, and No Dunks listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/theathletic. That's BetterHelp.com/theathletic.
I'm going to give you some important advice. Don't walk away from... Do you have to look back at where you've been to see where you're going? Just look forward and walk. Stop looking back.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, December 3rd, and this is The Drop. I'm G.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, we got Taps Mellis.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Tassie. We got our Top Shot Hot Boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey,
yo.
Got the international man of mystery taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And last but not least, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. And here we are on a Friday. Shout out to the stream team for joining us live right now on YouTube. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, and share the show. Don't forget to grab yourself some No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com, just in time for the holidays. Some last-minute gift ideas available over at nodunks.com. Got hoodies and T-shirts and shorts and mugs and on and on and on. So go to nodunks.com for that. And email in your NBA and your non-NBA questions. We always want them. Send them into nodunks@theathletic.com. I'm coming at you from my buddy Grish's office again today because, Comcast is crap sometimes. Yeah. Outage in the area. Said it was going to be until 1:30. I was like, come on, I got to talk to the guys about a 73-point loss. Grish, can I get over there? Can I use your office? I have to talk about this. So, shout out to my buddy Grish for letting me sort of crash here again. Check out last night's No Buffs episode, too. If you're a Survivor fan, we recapped episode 11 of the greatest show on television. Discussed the do or die twist and Erica's swing vote decision and a whole lot more. Tass, I know that you watched the episode and you're definitely hooked into this season. Can I just get your quick take on the do or die twists? Were you a fan of that or no?
I'd say no. I'm a purist. But they had me going. They had me going, though, because it went till the last minute, figured that there wasn't going to be a vote at Tribal Council.
Right.
Because of the time. I was looking at the watch, and it was a quick Tribal Council vote, even though we had an extra vote from Big X.
It's true. So go check out that No Buffs episode. No Buffs, again, has its own YouTube feed and its own Apple and Spotify feed. If you want to listen to the podcast, Jason Concepcion, of course, joined us last night. A lot of fun, as always. Okay, but on today's No Dunks, we're going to discuss some potential blockbuster trades that could shake up this league. Yeah, we're talking trades, baby. Why not? We got 5-Star Friday fun. We got Tweet of the Night. We got rapid fire questions at the end. But we got to start with the Grizzlies thrashing OKC by an NBA record, 73 points, Tass. It's wild to see written. It's crazy to say out loud. And it was sort of a lot of fun on Twitter last night, if I'm being honest, where people were realizing they're down 70 points. Is this like legit? And yeah, it turned into 73, a new record. What do you think?
Well, like everybody, I mean, the first thought I had was, holy shit, what is happening? And then you realize a bunch of their best players are out, a team that's already looking for the lottery. With Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was out. Josh Giddey was out right after he was named Rookie of the Month. That's unfortunate for them, kind of took the shine off that. Kendrick Williams and Derek Favors also not part of the rotation. That all being said, you'd think if they lose by 73 points that they'd have like another 50 or 60 point loss this season. Their next worst loss is by 33 points. And they had those excuses, as I mentioned, getting smacked all over the place, looking at the box score as us nerds do. Wow, this guy was a minus 56 on the court. Only 28 baskets scored on the other side. I mean, it was crazy. My favorite tweet, I think, of all the holy shit tweets was Dan Devine saying, all we need is a stop and a bucket and another 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 bucket. And about 35 of them. But all that to say, I think this puts the front office on high alert for the rest of the season if OKC decides to sit guys like they did last year because they were trying to get that number one pick. Now, again, they weren't sitting guys in this one, but it doesn't matter. I think the optics are horrible for the league. Mm-hmm. And they did this last year when they sat Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they sat Al Horford, and the league chose not to punish them. And when you see a 73-point loss, and that's the story in the NBA when you had the Bulls Knicks playing and you had other stories going on, it's like a retroactive punishment for me. If one of these guys sits, I think the NBA has to come down on OKC. And it doesn't matter if Clay Bennett's a good owner, he's part of the board of governors, he's part of the relocation committee. It doesn't matter. You can't do this year in and year out where you sit guys and try and go for the number one pick. And again, that wasn't the story yesterday. This team is better than a lot of other teams in the NBA. They've got a couple more wins than several other teams in the NBA, but I think it's an image thing. It's always an optics thing with the NBA, and the Thunder did well last year after dropping to the fourth worst record. They dropped in the lottery. Unfortunate for them to get to the number 6 pick, but they got Josh Giddey, and he was just named Rookie of the Month. So you could say they are trying and all that, but they're absolutely not in a way. And I think the league, as they've tried and fix this tanking scenario with all the odds in the lottery and all that, they still have to come down on teams, and that's all. Because you can't have a 73-point loss. It's just bad again for the way people look at the NBA.
Yeah, the Grizzlies were 5 points clear of the previous record set by the Cavaliers in 1991, Lee, when they defeated the Heat by 68 points. Do you remember that game at all?
I actually do, because it was on NBA Action. I do honestly remember it. I believe Terrell Brandon was playing in that game.
Okay.
So, yes, I do. But Tass is actually 100% right here. This is sort of just beyond a laughable loss. This is humiliation for the entire franchise and the league as well, because you're putting a team out there that doesn't even show any sort of competitiveness. And I think that's just an embarrassment. So, I understand the Thunder they're not in a win now mode. They're looking to the future, but it's very hard to understand how being completely and utterly humiliated like this is helpful for anybody on the franchise. I mean, I think it's one thing to lose a couple of games and say, we're not maybe fielding our best players, but yeah, you cannot have this and just think that the NBA can just sort of brush it aside and think there's nothing more to it. They have to make sure.
Well, hold on. I want to push back against you guys. What do you want the league to do for them losing by 73 points last night? They didn't have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They didn't have Giddey. It got out of control. Don't get me wrong. You should never lose by 70 plus points, and it has never happened until last night. But I understand what Tass was saying with like moving forward. If you guys are really leaning into like sitting guys that are healthy that should be playing and all that, but that wasn't the case last night. So it's like,
yeah, but
they don't even have the worst record in the league. They're not even the worst.
I know. I mean, they beat the Lakers twice, which is kind of remarkable. But I just think this is more than just a laughable loss. I think this is just like, you can't be that terrible in the NBA. You just can't be. You've got to be somewhat more competitive against the Grizzlies, who are missing their best player, who've now won 3 in a row without Ja Morant. But look, if this is the Thunder, they've got some grand plan that in 4 years' time this is going to pay off. I guess it's worth it. But I just think when you run a squad out there that just gets laughed at like that by the entire league, and beyond that, the sporting guys, CNN had an article on it today as well. So that's just a bad look. And I just don't think the NBA should be comfortable with that under any circumstances.
Yeah, that's fair. It doesn't help, Trey, that you pair this with the Thunder in the same calendar year, if I have that correct. I believe it was in May that they were a part of the biggest road loss in NBA history. The Pacers set the biggest road win, I should say, they beat them by 57 in OKC. So this is sort of the same idea, the same team here. It's happening in the span of a couple like half a year really, that they now have the record biggest home loss and biggest road loss. That is rough. I'll give you that. But what do you make of this game last night? Is it just an aberration and let's not freak out so much, or are the guys sort of onto something here and Presti, does deserve to be held over the flames a little bit?
I think it's both. I think it is a little bit of an aberration because, it's literally a 73-point loss. Crazy stuff. I first caught wind of it. Somebody tweeted, this should be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's all-star audition tape. It's 72-36 at halftime. I don't know about y'all, but I had to take a screenshot of this. I went for the screenshot when it was 75-150, the perfect double up. I thought that would be a nice one to commemorate, but this is only year 2 of the rebuild for the Thunder, so maybe they get a little bit more time. But when the Sixers were tanking this hard, the league stepped in and removed Sam Hinkie as their GM. So I think it's certainly possible that Sam Presti is at least getting some eyeballs at this point. If you're going to be putting up the worst home loss and the worst road loss in the same calendar year, we know what happened with Horford last year. They sat him down because he was an experienced veteran who could help him win games. They sat Shai Gilgeous-Alexander down after an injury and kept him out for the rest of the season. Those are the kind of things, and losses like this piling up is what got Sam Hinkie out of Philadelphia. So I think it hasn't quite gotten as bad as it was in Philly yet for OKC, but it's getting there. And by the end of the season, I think we might be hearing some buzz about the Thunder need to turn something around at least a little bit here and be a more competitive team.
Yeah, just to wrap this up, the Grizzlies shot 62.5% from the field, 52.8% from 3, and they out-rebounded OKC 53-26. They had a 41-14 advantage in assists and 152 points, obviously a franchise record for them. The wild stats. Jaren Jackson Jr. did have a really good game for the Grizzlies. He hit 6 threes and 27 points. Yeah, I know. There's not a whole lot that you can say from this.
Nice game for Muscala as well last night. 12 points on 8 shots, 3 of 7 from 3. Muscala gets the game ball for the Thunder, I think.
Wow.
Minus 21.
Oh my God. Yeah. Go take a look at the box score though, just to see the plus minuses on both teams. It's pretty wild. So we'll see. I don't want to freak out too much. You are missing your all-star like player and Giddey, who's been really good for them too. Things just got out of hand last night, and it was wild to see. They had a decent fourth quarter lead. They at least cut it so they weren't doubled up, which is almost unfortunate. It would have been nice to have the double up like Trey was showing us, like for the whole game. Unfortunately, they came up short on that.
Definitely never seen a box score where the team lost by between 15 to 22 points in every quarter.
Yeah,
never happened, obviously. Just to get romped like that. And it's not just about this night. I think it goes back to last year really, when the league decided whatever, you're sitting Horford, you're sitting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but those stories, those sitting of those guys didn't get to CNN, didn't become a big issue. But now with a 73-point loss and now a bit more of a spotlight on the team, it is becoming more like Philadelphia. And I don't think those types of moves, if they go forward with them, should go unpunished. They slapped the wrist of the Celtics and the Heat yesterday. They got to slap the wrist of OKC at some point down the road here when they decide to sit guys. But in this one, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, his head hit somebody's foot. He's in concussion protocol. Giddey's hurt. Favors is hurt. That would have been
Kenrich Williams
for sure.
No, he wasn't in there as well. The problem with that though, Tass, is like the Raptors sat Kyle Lowry last year. He could have played. And they're like, well, no, why? We don't want to play for the play-in tournament, so let's just help our odds in the lottery. So it feels like the Thunder do get picked on a little bit more than some other teams that also lean into tanking and are doing these decisions where that guy could probably play, but just leave him out.
But they're the leaniest of the leaners, though. Come on, they're. I know where do you draw the line in the sand? Yeah, the Raptors sat Lowry, but OKC was sitting anybody and everybody, trading anybody and everybody, trying to get the draft. But it's clear what they're doing. So it's hard. It is hard. And Adam Silver works for the owners. And I'm sure he's got a good relationship with Clay Bennett. And Clay Bennett is, done good for the league, I suppose, in his roles as what he does. But you know what? When it becomes such a big story, it's unfortunate, but it has to come back on somebody, and it's got to come back on OKC. It's at some point. Trey brings up a good point about the Sixers. It's not there quite yet, I guess. They're not 9-73 or whatever the Sixers were trying to get to there, but they're knocking on the door at some point, I guess. But like they've got 6 wins. We say, hey, they're not the worst team in the league. Yeah. Other teams have 4 and 5 wins. So they're pretty close. They're pretty close to being the worst team in the league at some point.
That's true. All right, let's keep it going here. Let's get to an actually entertaining game. TK, get us started, man. DeRozan and Zach LaVine, they help the Bulls hang on to Bing Bong the Knicks. 119-11. No, that's my typo. Okay, that actually is a typo that I have here on the stream team. It was, I believe it was 115.
That's right.
And I will make sure to correct that. But what were your big takeaways from this one?
I don't know how the Bulls and Knicks have already played 3 times before Christmas, but after last night, it's been 3 classics. What a game. Bulls got out to a big lead in the first half. 21 points was the biggest margin they got up to. Vucci, baby, was running wild. 13 points in the first quarter. Hit a 3. Had a big dunk. It kind of felt like a high school movie when the dork gets made up as a hottie. Who is that? Nikola Vucevic running down the lane, throwing down. I loved it, but it is known. First half leads are not real. The Knicks came charging back in the third quarter. Starters were actually looking pretty good. Evan Fournier hit 3 threes in the corner. Emmanuel Quickley was starting for RJ Barrett, who's out with an illness. He hit 3 threes in the quarter. They turned the defense up, forced a whole bunch of turnovers from the Bulls, held Chicago to 20 points in the third. So this was a tight one going into the fourth quarter. But that's when DeMar DeRozan took over. 18 points in the fourth, including Chicago's first 10. He went 6 of 7 from the field, went 6 of 7 from the free throw line. My personal favorite make of DeRozan's was the double pump fake, then the step through, then off the glass, and one. Loved seeing that. They needed every single make, though, from DeRozan because Julius Randle was hard to handle. 30, 12, and 6 for Julius, 9 in the fourth. Bulls just do not have a good matchup for his strength and size, and honestly, pretty solid shooting as well. But what do free throws do, Lee?
Yeah.
Games. Randle, 1 of 3 on clutch free throws in the last 2 minutes. Got ripped by Alex Caruso with a little less than a minute left, a tie game, which was a huge play. Bulls score the next 6. Bing bong, the Bulls are back. This was a fun game. Bulls executed a little bit better down the stretch. Got great performances from their stars. 34 for DeRozan with 0 3-point attempts. That's an old school game right there. 27 for LaVine, 27 for Vooch. These teams don't play again until March. That's a bummer.
Wow.
But at least the first 3 were bangers.
Yeah, no, they were great games. Lee, I got to ask you, too, what do you think about the officiating last night? I know Knicks fans were not happy with the whistle, especially the Taj Gibson ejection was a little quick, it appeared. I'm sure he said some things he shouldn't have, but, man, those were 2 quick technicals, and you're out of here. But what do you think?
Well, the technicals, absolutely. He did not deserve to be ejected for that. And there needs, I wonder if there's some way you can almost challenge that second one, because that was the ref just like, you're going to show me up? Well, bang, you're out of here. And he didn't need to react like that. Mike Breen said it on the call. You've got to show some composure as the ref, just like the players have to. Taj Gibson kind of earned that first one, trying to hey, open your eyes, and Caruso kind of flops. Caruso does that around screens. He picked up one later on. I think it was on Mitchell Robertson as well for that. But Gibson didn't deserve to go. Other than that, again, it's a physical game. I think, honestly, DeMar DeRozan got hit on that very last play where he went up and scored in the paint too. I think it put the Bulls up by 4, and there wasn't a call on that. So, these are the sorts of things we can get down into the nitty-gritty anytime there's contact and say, right, was that a foul? Was it not a foul? It doesn't really change the fact that I think as great as Julius Randle was in this game, unfortunately, he had some costly turnovers and he wasn't able to hit those free throws late. Now, that doesn't take away from the fact that he kind of carried that team and put them into that position. Evan Fournier was good in the third quarter as well. But unfortunately, the late game execution was the difference here. And DeRozan, Trey mentions that one where he sort of banked it in. I actually like the other one where he spun deep, long too, not necessarily a great analytical shot, but when DeRozan's in his bag like that, he was just on fire. And he's got such a slow-mo way of just deciding how to get to his spot and get to his shot and rise up. And it's incredible to watch a guy just so accomplished at this stage of his career. And he talked about it after the game. Someone said to him, he doesn't remember who it was, someone said to him, whatever you're good at, just perfect that. And DeRozan right now has virtually perfected that sort of mid-range, close the game, leadership in the fourth quarter. end of the, because it looked like, and the Knicks got the lead twice there in the fourth quarter. It looked like the Knicks might have just been able to carry it over here, but then Caruso, effective defensively. He turned the ball over though. What was that? I can't remember now. Late in the fourth quarter himself, I think. But overall, you know, you look at 3 or 4 plays, and another key play here. Mitchell Robinson came out with about 2 minutes 45, 50 to go, and he was basically just gassed. And Clyde Frazier was talking about on the broadcast, like, if he's not there, you know the Bulls are going to attack. Now, Levine hit a step back three, but step back long two, and then DeRozan did drive inside. But that to me is also a problem. Now, Rose came in. Rose is, you know, a good finisher there for the Knicks. But if you've got a guy who can protect the paint and then he's not there and the Bulls kind of take advantage of that, bad coaching, I'm not sure. If a guy's gassed, I mean, you've got to get his conditioning up. He's got to be able to finish the game because I think he's so important to the Knicks. Derrick Rose was the one kind of there protecting the paint on that last DeRozan drive. So I think the Knicks can look at this and think they were bad in the first half. They got themselves back in it, but the Bulls just showed them how to end the game.
Yeah, I think it was Clyde saying when there was no big guy in there for the Knicks, when the cat's away, the mice will play. He said that twice.
Yeah. That man had some lines.
He is. Green. I mean, this is, it's, if you're not listening to, I love the Bulls broadcast too. And I don't know, Trey, do you always listen to like the Chicago Bulls broadcast? Yeah, okay. As a Bulls fan, that makes sense. But
there was a Zach Levine line.
The Knicks broadcast is. I mean, they're incredible, Clyde and Bree. Yeah, go ahead.
What was the line for Levine from Clyde Frazier was feline quickness with a canine attitude. My God, you're the best, man. I mean, he just got it on the spot. The Knicks. It was nice that they didn't have any backup centers. Taj Gibson gets tossed. Nerlens Noel's not in there. That was the huge difference for me. Yep. It was nice in the first half because we could see, Nick Vucevic becoming the nerd alert, becoming the beautiful star with a huge dunk. Caruso, that huge alley-oop jam on the break. I mean, they really had no rim protection when Mitchell Robinson was off the floor. Obi Toppin wasn't happening. Derrick Rose protecting the rim. I mean, come on. They were lacking big time protecting the rim when Mitchell Robinson wasn't out there, who is a beast and had 5 blocks. And it's fun to watch him. It feels like an old school basketball player. I don't know if it's just because it's in MSG. He's moving a little slowly. He's wearing a headband, but it's fun to watch that dude protect the rim. And they paid Nerlens Noel to be a really expensive backup center. And if he was out there, and if RJ Barrett was out there, and if Taj Gibson was out there, he just said, that's 2, man, that's 2. And Ben Taylor, the referee, tosses him for saying that's 2. Maybe he dropped an F-bomb in there, maybe. But it's true. Ben Taylor missed 2 calls on Taj Gibson. Moving screens never get called, but Ben Taylor loves calling.
They called
back-to-back one on Caruso after that as well. There was a lot of makeup calls. The Knicks had some complaints, some valid complaints in the first half, no doubt about it. The ejection was a little quick ski for me as well, but the Knicks ended up shooting more free throws than the Bulls, and I thought they got some gifts in the second half. I thought it evened out.
All right, our next game, the Suns push past the Pistons, and they win a franchise record 18 straight games, Lee. We were worried about the trap game. Of course, they had just beat the Warriors. They're playing the Warriors again tonight. We thought, what could happen in between there? A lowly Detroit Pistons team. You never know in the NBA. But it was close, but they took care of business. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, the Pistons went on a 17-0 run there in the third quarter to actually make it close because I think the Suns were kind of like, we just got to get through this game to preserve the record win streak. And then, of course, we face the Golden State Warriors tonight. And it was going to plan, and I think the Suns thought, okay, we'll just close this out. But the Pistons, who have been competitive, I think certainly recently, sort of said, all right, we're not just going to lie down and let this team beat us. But in the end, Chris Paul and the Suns just executed as you expected them to do. And it was a close enough game that the Pistons were a chance, but it would have been such a letdown, such an anticlimactic night tonight if the Suns had lost last night because, right. But they didn't. So good on the Pistons for at least, showing some fight there. Jeremy Grant was good, but the Phoenix Suns, they started Landry Shamet last night. I expect he will start for Devin Booker again tonight. I mean, it makes sense that they would do that. But that's all it really was. They've now set a new record, 18 consecutive wins, which is pretty remarkable. This team, mentioned the other day, were 1-3, and you sort of wondered if they were a bit hungover from last season. Right now, they're looking fantastic, and I just cannot wait for tonight. I think it's going to be an awesome game in the Bay there.
Yeah, are we going to be done our Christmas dinner in time to watch this game? I guess we will
have to be. Yeah.
We'll have to wrap it up. Check, please. We got a game to go watch. Just another balanced effort from the Suns, though. 7 guys scoring in double figures. They shot 54% overall. Another great win. And you're right, Lee, gets us very excited for tonight's rematch here against the Warriors, this time in the Bay, and that will be our pick'em game. So stick around to hear our selections for that in a little bit. Anything to add, Tass or Trey, to the Suns extending their win streak to a franchise record 18 straight?
No.
Not much. I would say the thing that if you're a Pistons fan, you're chronicling Cade Cunningham's opening season, seeing what he can do. And James Edwards on The Athletic did a good job, possession by possession, even before the game, writing about him stretching, signing autographs, doing his thing, and then into the game possession by possession. So it's a good read if you want to read about Cade. You faded for Caded, and now you got him, and hopefully things are going to be on the up and up because he is good, man. He's still good.
Go to theathletic.com/no-dunks. Get yourself an Athletic subscription so you can read James Edwards III. All right, our next game here. VanVleet, he just basically refused to let the Raptors fall to the Giannis-less Bucks. No Giannis last night, sort of last minute scratch. So it was like 30 minutes before the game when everybody found out that he wasn't going to be playing. But man, Tass, I want the Raptors to put together a little win streak here, start winning some games so Fred VanVleet can possibly make an all-star game. This guy, I mean, I watched this one in its entirety, and there was a stretch in the fourth quarter. Really, in the second half, it was VanVleet saying, we're not losing this game, guys. Like, we need to win a damn home game here. But he nailed a 3. Then he beat Holiday backdoor for a layup. Then he made a steal, which led to a Siakam layup on the break. Sparked a run after the Bucks had, cut the lead to 2. And then a little bit later, just makes this twisting sort of right-hand layup in traffic, puts the Raptors back up 6 with 3 minutes to go. And VanVleet, Freddie, very stoic usually, no emotion when he's out there. He was hyping up the crowd. He was trying to get this place in the Scotiabank Arena, give some energy because they keep losing games home. And it was weird to see VanVleet do that, but it was sort of refreshing. And I thought, an unbelievable performance task by him to really get the Raptors a much-needed win. I mean, they're taking on the Bucks without Giannis, and they have a huge home stretch here where they could, in theory, string together some wins and sort of be right back in the playoff picture or playoff race in the loaded Eastern Conference. I don't know if you agree or not.
Oh, yeah. I love the optimism for sure. As soon as you get a dub, it feels good. Fred has been their most important player, leading the league in minutes played. And yeah, this was bound to happen. The all-star push for Fred was bound to happen. It's got to feel good as a Raptors fan watching him. And the way he talked about coming into the season without Kyle Lowry, how he thought he was going to step up with him and Pascal Siakam to have that connection. And Pascal wasn't there the first few weeks, and he's still hanging on to this team, still pushing it forward, while, yeah, the rest of it has been a bit of a clusterfuck, let's be honest. It has been.
It's got a sailor mouth on it today.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, I don't want to mince words. There isn't a better word for clusterfuck, is there?
No, but you usually do the incredible job of somehow censoring yourself.
Yeah, it's
true.
Say
the word. Yeah.
Not today. It's a Friday. So they just don't have bodies, and it's happened at every position, including Pascal Siakam's. But Fred has been there as we said, 39 minutes a friggin' night. There, I did it. It's just watching these young guys grow, and Fred trying to bring them along, and Pascal still hasn't found his flow. And it's we just talked about Cade Cunningham. I'm just watching Scotty Barnes and how he's coachable in every single game. And Nick Nurse is pushing him to shoot threes. He only shot 19 in the first 18 games, and now he shot 21 in the last 3. And I love it. But it's also the good with the bad when it comes to, those aren't the shots that we should be watching if this is going to be a playoff team. Because they're not great shots, but it's one of those seasons. Sometimes you get a good Freddie and a good Pascal. And sometimes you get a young guy shooting threes all over the place. So I don't know where this season goes. Right now it feels good, and if they had all their guys healthy, it would feel good. But sometimes you're replacing guys with, like we're talking about OKC, you're replacing guys with non-replacement players. So then it's bad. Then it's a bad season.
I mean, VanVleet almost has to lead the league in minutes played, Lee. I don't know if you've watched Raptors games. They're garbage when he's not out there. They're not good at all. Like he has to play for setting up the offense, being able to hit a three, and then what he gives you defensively too. Like it's like Nurse is honestly in a tough spot. He's like, I have to play him, or we're just not going to win games. But I'm running this guy into the ground with around 40 minutes per game. It's sort of wild.
Yeah, and if you listen to Jack Armstrong, Fred VanVleet should be starting in the All-Star game. He's been that good for them at both ends of the floor. But this was a game last night that just would not end. The Raptors, led for most of it. They took advantage of the others. And do either watch the last 3.5 minutes or don't, Rich. I don't know if it's like really good, tight basketball or if it's just like, just end the game. Stop with the replays and the reviews. Siakam goes down. He gets initially the block call against Pat Connaughton. Then they reverse it and they call it an offensive foul. And Siakam, actually, that was his 6th foul and he goes out of the game. So the Raptors had a chance. And Jack Armstrong as well basically said at one point, I think the Raptors were leading by 7. And he's like, all you got to do is get a couple of stops here and then go down the other end and score, and you can put this baby away. And then Drew Holiday just hits a 3 right in his face there. It was just. It
got worse, Lee. Precious Achiuwa.
What are you chewing?
Yeah. He almost tried to give this game away. He fouled Chris Middleton on a 3 with about 15 seconds to go. Then, and this was a rough call, I thought, but he picked up the loose ball foul when Middleton missed the last free throw.
Yeah.
That sent the Bucks back to the line. Yeah. And then he wasn't done. Precious missed a pair of free throws that could have iced the game with like 4 seconds to go. And Pat Connaughton had a really good corner look at a 3-pointer that didn't drop, or otherwise the Raptors could have lost this game. I mean, that would have been a brutal loss. But, Precious, he is the ultimate roller coaster. There's some great moments. A huge dunk in transition. He pinned a Drew Holiday block off the glass like pretty late. That was huge defensive play. But then he has like these boneheaded decisions and fouls and stuff like that. Ugh.
Luckily they've got Fred VanVleet though, because I think that he said he's a player, a coach, and a parent to the rest of the Raptors. And you saw, I think there was like 0.7 seconds left, and the Raptors were up 4. And it was going to be the Bucks ball, and you can just see Fred standing on the sideline saying, "Don't move, put your arms down, and we can't lose.
Right.
Don't do anything out there." I felt like he was speaking specifically to Precious Achiuwa on that one, so that was a great moment from VanVleet. But if I'm the Bucks, I'm a little worried about Brook Lopez. We just found out he's going to be out indefinitely, and I think size was definitely a problem for the Bucks last night. Obviously, no Giannis. Yeah. They don't really have a big guy right now. 16 offensive rebounds for the Raptors. That was 29 second chance points. Bucks don't win the title last year without Brook Lopez. Remember, he had that 33 against the Hawks in Game 5 after Giannis went down with his knee injury. He's also been an instrumental part of their defense for the past 3 seasons. He made a run at Defensive Player of the year that Giannis won it. And his boxing out, I think, is such a huge reason why they're able to clean up the glass the way they do. They're middle of the pack right now. I've said it a few times. You can see it in a game like this against the Raptors. And the Raptors aren't a team that has like a huge big guy who's going to go out there and board. So I don't know what's going to happen for the Bucks with regards to their big guys, because Boogie didn't play last night. Like, he's still not ready to be playing back-to-backs in heavy minutes. Also, I don't think you want Brook Lopez to be your number one big, or Boogie to be your number one big guy come playoff time. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they use maybe DiVincenzo to find another big guy or something. Maybe take a look at Nurkic, something like that. Bring him in for just a huge body that they need.
Yeah, it's we got our answer as to why they signed Cousins, right, Tass? We were like, what does that mean about Brook Lopez? Well, a day later, they're saying he's getting surgery on his back, so that's what it meant. He's in there to sop up some big minutes there, and who knows if Brook is back by a late season or a playoff push. I guess we really just don't know, right?
Yeah, at least they left it open that there is a possibility that he does come back for the playoffs. So that's, a huge plus if they get him back. But they will be looking, I assume, as well for a body out there. But, that's the way they've played for years and years. Giannis has had Brook behind him, and Giannis doesn't want to play the 5. He doesn't want to be the big man back there. And him and Bobby Portis isn't really it's not the solution, that's for sure. That's a body will be coming in if Brook isn't there. But hopefully he does come back for the postseason. It's been a strange couple months because they didn't say a single thing since Game 1 until the surgery happened. So hopefully that meant that they were trying to figure it out in a non-surgical way.
Right.
But hopefully he comes back for the playoffs.
And then just finally here, last game from last night, Blazers coach Chauncey Billups troubled by team's effort in a blowout loss to the Spurs. They lost 114-83, Lily, at home to San Antonio. Nice win from the Spurs, of course. But Billups after the game said, quote, "My biggest concern is I want us to compete harder, man. I want us to compete harder. I want us to be competitive in every game, and I don't feel like every night we do that. We don't, and it concerns me." And more bad news, like no Lillard, of course, in this game, no Nasir Little, and then Anthony Simons, who was starting for Lillard at the point guard position, their young guard, who has shown like little flashes here and there. He goes down with an ankle injury. So this is a brutal loss for Portland, especially on the effort level. And it was at home where they usually have been good, and they finally lose one here.
And Jason Quick had a good write-up after this game talking about how effort losses have been the theme here for Portland. Chauncey Billups has said this a lot, where it's like, I'm just worried about our effort. We're just not competing, and they weren't competitive last night at home. As you mentioned, that's where at least they've found some fortune this season by winning a lot of games there. But the Spurs just punked them. And honestly, I'm going to play body language doctor here again. Shoulders slumped, effort just not there. There was a point where DeJounte Murray, I think it was in the third quarter, steals the ball, goes down for the dunk in the half-court set, and the Blazers is just trotting behind him afterwards. It's like there's none of that desperation of like, even if you're going to get dunked on, to just sort of save some sort of face here by at least showing that you're not going to lie down. But honestly, to get killed like that by a team that's also struggling, the Spurs, I know they had a victory the other night, but they haven't been good this season. That is a team that's like just not on the same page as each other. And Jason Quick also refers to how the fact that the Blazers need to do something here because
shake-up is coming.
Exactly. They're better than, the worst teams, but they're nowhere near the top teams. They're in that sort of no man's land of like play-in tournament. Even if you win the play-in tournament, your first round fodder, you're not bad enough that you can compete with the Thunder, by losing by 6,000. But it's also like, what's the point at this stage when you've come this far with Lillard and McCollum and Nurkic, but it's like, okay, we know what how this season's going to end as it is right now. So I think there'll be some, there has to be a shake-up there in Portland.
Well, maybe they'll make a trade for Ben Simmons, because we're going to discuss that after the break. Don't go anywhere. One of the questions here in this copy, Lily, is how has Beam changed the way that I enjoy watching movies and TV at home? The Sonos Beam. Well, let me tell you, the easy answer to that is I'm watching a lot more TV lying down in bed, because that's where the Beam is. I'm watching the Raptors stink it up left and right lying down. I'm watching Yellowstone. I'm watching Succession. I'm watching Get Back, the Beatles documentary. I'm doing a lot more of it lying down. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I got the Beam in the bedroom, and it sounds amazing in there now. And I would encourage you to do the same. Raise the bar of your entertainment with Sonos Beam, the compact, smart soundbar for TV, music, and more. You can enjoy panoramic sound for shows, movies, and games when the TV is on. And then, I always forget about this, you can be streaming music and the radio and more, when the TV is off, but you're using the Sonos Beam. Control, super easy. You can use the Sonos app, your TV remote, Apple AirPlay 2. You can even use your voice with Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant. Setup is a breeze, only 2 cables and automatic remote detection. And this is really nice. You got the Beam in your bedroom, which is really fun to say. You can turn on speech enhancement mode in the app while watching TV and movies to clarify those voices. Perfect for when characters are whispering. When Mr. Dutton is whispering.
Oh my goodness. It must be working overtime in Yellowstone.
Right?
Kevin Costner. I don't know, Casey.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got gravel in his guts.
Or you can turn on night sound to tone down loud effects when others are at home trying to work or sleep. I mean, like I said, I'm watching games, I'm watching some of these shows, Nora might be sleeping right beside me, so night sound works really well for that too. Guys, just go to Sonos.com to learn more. Loving the Beam, and I would encourage you to go grab one as well, especially for your bedroom. If you put a Beam in your bedroom, tweet at your boy J.E. Skeets, okay?
Skeets in the streets, Beam in the bed.
That's right, baby.
Well, you know, the Monday morning after a busy weekend, especially after a long weekend, and you just feel like you've missed out on some of the big sports moments, and then you start to wonder how that might impact this week's bets. Because you can relive the best in sports from the night before with BetMGM Tonight, presented by BetMGM. BetMGM Tonight is a high-energy live destination for your casuals and your cams, as in Cam Stewart hardcore sports fans alike. It's a high-paced, engaging, informative show that will get you up to speed with everything going on in the sports betting world. Plus, you get all that with a heavy dose of entertainment. That's always the best way to have fun when you're trying to figure out if I should have a few wagers on this or that. If it's a fun entertainment, a fun environment, a fun listen, you're more likely to feel good about your bets. And that's what you get with BetMGM Tonight. It's fun to bet on the game. It's even more fun when you've got the inside scoop. Tune in to BetMGM Tonight, presented by BetMGM. Listen on Odyssey, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
You nailed it that time.
Did I get it right? It's Odyssey.
Yeah,
Okay.
Odyssey.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
All right, back with No Dunks on a Friday. I was already in a good mood. I'm even in a better mood now. Shout out to Ken and Marge on the birth of a new baby boy coming across the wire right now. Wow. Yeah, how about that?
Chom's
Bailey?
breaking the news.
Yeah. Congrats
Great
to,
stuff. Congrats,
Ken and
guys.
Marge on the birth of their healthy little boy. Is awesome. Okay, so guys, let's talk trades. You know, I've been saying it for the last couple of days. Something's coming. You know, we're getting closer to that December 15th date where you can include a lot of guys in potential deals. Some of these teams know that they stink now and that they should maybe really lean into the development of their team and try and get something back. There's other teams like, man, we need a piece to like get us up in the standings. So I hit the internet yesterday and I scoured it. I'm looking for trade ideas. So I got a couple I'm going to throw at you guys. And I want to make this clear. Don't fucking come at me in the stream team. These aren't my trades. These are the internet's trades. A lot of the time, you know, I'll slap on the credit of who I saw it from, but they're not mine. So you're like, oh, what a dumb trade. Well, go tell them. Seek them out. Okay. But I thought they're at least decent enough to break down here, and I'm gonna sort of pair them together. Let's start with Ben Simmons. Two that I've seen that I'm like, okay, fascinating. One has to do with the Blazers, and this one's been around for a while. In fact, by all accounts, the Blazers shut it down like a month or two ago because Morey was asking for about 100 draft picks. But the frame of the deal would be the Blazers get Ben Simmons, and the Sixers in return get CJ McCollum. And then let's call it 2 protected first-round picks. I know, again, we've seen like 3 first-round picks, 3 draft swaps. It ain't going to be that many, but maybe it's closer to like 2 or 3. So there's that one. Simmons to the Blazers for McCollum and picks. The other one, what about just Ben Simmons for Kyrie Irving? Straight up. That one by way of Bleacher Report. Yeah. Like, why not just say, hey, the Nets, you could use a little more defense. There's Ben Simmons. Kyrie's not even playing for us. And then Kyrie could go to Philadelphia and obviously give them a punch offensively at the guard position. So of those two, which one is more realistic is how I want to ask this question. Tass, in your opinion, you know, Ben Simmons to the Nets for Kyrie or Ben Simmons to the Blazers for CJ McCollum and picks?
Ben Simmons for Kyrie seems way too far-fetched, but let's go with it. Let's go with it. I'm excited for that prospect because it would just solve 2 problems, 2 holdouts back playing basketball in one trade. So for basketball fans, that would be phenomenal. And yeah, the Blazers one has been on the table forever. So
right.
Is that what Morey settles for now? It may be a safer play than Kyrie Irving coming your way because Kyrie's contract only guaranteed this season. Even if he agreed to sign a contract extension with Philadelphia, still risky. His last 2 teams went to Boston. I'll be here for life. Obviously didn't happen. Went to sign with KD in Brooklyn, and things aren't going well now. Also, Shams Charania reporting that he's nowhere closer to being vaccinated. So doesn't seem like he's coming back on the floor anytime soon. So Daryl Morey would be taking a huge risk. But you know he's a risky guy. He likes to take risks. So it's definitely a high risk, high reward move, but also it would lower your floor because CJ McCollum's steadier player, you know he'd be out there. But I think at this point, also because You've got the investigation going on in the Blazers front office with Neil O'Shea.
Mm-hmm.
Now, apparently he's still running the ship and can still make moves, but I don't think he could trade CJ McCollum right this second. So I think if we're talking right now, I think the Nets move is more likely because I think there's a possibility that the Nets are looking at trade prospects. And if you were able to get Ben Simmons, I think that would be the best thing you could get for Kyrie Irving. But in all honesty, neither's going to happen. But I would obviously prefer the Simmons-Kyrie one because it would just be juicy, juicy, juicy for the rest of the year. That'd be the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, there is maybe one problem with that. As of a couple of months ago, at least, if I can remember, and I see people in the stream team pointing it out, Ramona Shelburne said, Ben Simmons may not be vaccinated as well. So we could be in the same situation with Kyrie not being able to play for the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, that could be the case. I don't know if that's changed since then. But Lee, same question for Tass. Which one is more realistic? Or maybe you have even another one that you want to throw out there to get Ben Simmons moved?
Well, I actually think the more realistic one is probably CJ McCollum, because I just don't think Daryl Morey is looking at the Kyrie Irving situation and going, yeah, we'll take those problems instead, because Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons are both not playing because they don't want to right now. Nothing's actually stopping those guys from going out on the court. Get vaccinated. The Sixers saying to Ben Simmons, come and play. He doesn't want it. So the risk you take with Kyrie Irving is, as fantastic as he can be offensively, we also know he's a little unpredictable in things might just come along where it's like, you know what, I just don't feel like playing right now. And he takes some more time off. And Ben Simmons, I mean, Skeetsy, you and I have disagreed on this. He doesn't seem the sort of person to me, from what I'm seeing, that he's sitting at home, I'm going to show all these guys what I'm going to do. Instead, he's being challenged and he's slinking away from that challenge, because if he really wanted to show up the franchise, he would get out on the floor and show the Sixers, this is what I can do. Now get me out of here. I'm playing my way out of it. Instead, he's like hiding from the franchise. So I think in that sense, if you can get your hands on CJ McCollum, you do that in a second. I think if you're the Philadelphia 76ers, because you know he's a veteran, you know he can score, he can shoot, he's going to turn up, he's going to play. You miss something defensively, of course, with Ben Simmons. But I think CJ McCollum is other than that, a model pro who's going to go out there and at least perform for you. I think the situation with Ben Simmons right now is he got upset, okay, with the franchise, but his response is basically like, I am never talking to you ever again. I'm never even going to show up for you ever again. And I think that is a concern for any team that potentially takes on Ben Simmons right now as well. I think they're like, he's a great player when he's on the court, but if he's not in the right frame of mind, he might also just walk out on our team.
What do you think, Trey?
I think the Blazers should fire Neil O'Shea and trade CJ McCollum to the Sixers today. I think this is the trade that needs to happen. Both of these teams are scuttling. The Sixers need some more guard play. They need something from Simmons' spot. We've been talking about these two trades specifically for months. These are the ones that make sense. I don't think Kyrie Irving is going to happen in this trade. There's always some hesitation to trade within the conference, which is a weird thing, I think, but I don't know. To me, it almost feels like on one half, the Sixers are asking too much from the Blazers, and the Blazers are a little too attached to CJ McCollum, but the vibes are bad in Portland, and they need something to change. I don't think it can get any worse bringing in Ben Simmons. So Simmons for McCollum, call it in 3 months ago, please.
All right, let's move to the Pacers, because I found a couple that were a little intriguing. We keep talking about the Pacers need to break up. They're too bigs. So they got to trade either Myles Turner or they got to trade Domantas Sabonis. One of them have to go. Well, I found a trade for both of those guys. Let's start with Sabonis. This one by way of ESPN, big article on like blockbuster trades that they could shake up the league. The Warriors make a play for Sabonis. And what it would cost them in theory be a bunch of their young guys. James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, and Moses Moody for Sabonis. There's that one. Okay, table that for a second. Then I found one for Myles Turner. A lot of people intrigued by him. The Hornets could use a guy at the center position, give him a little defense, still stretch the floor. Would the Pacers at all do something like Kelly Oubre Jr. and then a young guy, a promising guy in like James Bouknight, let's say, hypothetically, for Turner? That by way of Swarm Sting. So if you're Indiana from their side of things, Trey, would you just rather trade Sabonis or would you rather trade Turner? And of those two that I threw at you by way of the internet, do they make some sense? Too far-fetched? What do you think?
I would trade either of them or both of them. I think it's time for a change in Indiana. Did you realize the Pacers have the lowest attendance in the league? This is just a team that is not very exciting, and they're not very good right now. It's time for a remix. Like, who's the best player on the Pacers? I would think it's Sabonis. That would be the guy I would want to keep around. But Zach Harper, in a preseason preview podcast, he mentioned that Domantas Sabonis is the new Nikola Vucevic, and that really changed my mind on things. Like, if he's your best player, you might be looking at 41 and 41 at the absolute top. But it also feels like you could get more back for Sabonis. So if I'm looking at these two packages that you suggested, Skeets, and that you came up with on your own 100%, I would much rather have Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody.
Yeah.
3 guys who have a combined 4 years of experience than Kelly Oubre and James Bouknight. Like, Bouknight's played 7 games so far. I don't know anything really about him. Kelly Oubre, as we've seen, has had some moments in the league, but not a guy you're building around. At least if you get 3 young prospects for Sabonis, you're on the path to building something new.
Okay. Would the Warriors ever do something like that, Lily? Sabonis is available. It's going to cost you all of like your young guys, your picks from the last 2 years. Would they lean all into that? And would Sabonis fit with that team, obviously around Draymond and then Clay when he's back and Curry and so on? What do you think?
I think they probably would. They're in win now mode right now. And Sabonis, a 2-time All-Star vet, you know what you're getting. Offensively, he can shoot, he can pass, he can spread the floor. Not a great rim protector or defender, but he's an upgrade over those guys because they're rookies or young players that we haven't just seen enough of. I like, when you talk about Kuminga there, I mean, we saw him in Brooklyn, he's athletic and he's energetic on the other end, but Sabonis is just a veteran who's been around. He's a tough player. So I think he would slot into that sort of system there in Golden State very, very nicely. And, the Warriors, when they drafted James Wiseman last year, I think they kind of drafted him in the hope that they could perhaps trade him for a veteran who's a little bit more along the same timeline as Draymond and as Steph and, of course, Clay when he comes back. So, yes, I think so. I think Sabonis is just a good player to have on your team. I mean, he's very solid at both ends. And as I say, he can pass the ball, he can shoot. He can give you a little bit of presence inside as well. So I don't think him and Draymond would sort of get in each other's way either because, they just know how to play those sort of guys. So I think they would do that. And you would be prepared to sacrifice a little bit of your youth just to get the guys who can help you right now and are just a bit more experienced. Yeah.
You do wonder if the Warriors would prefer Turner to Sabonis, Tass. I'm not sure what the answer is to that. I don't know if you have a take on it. I mean, Sabonis is a great player, and I'm with you, Lee. I mean, especially with the way the Warriors play. If you can move the ball, then you can play on that team, and he can do that. But then again, Turner gives you obviously rim protection and rebounding and can stretch the floor a little bit. If they had a preference, who would you want from the Warriors side of things? And would you give up a guy like Kuminga, which is the big part of this, I think?
Yeah, I definitely see the Myles Turner fit being a little bit better. He could be Kevon Looney with hops. Kevon Looney is out there dunking and playing defense and doing a great job. But Myles Turner would be a nice upgrade on that. That being said, both good players, but I don't think the Warriors do it. I think the Warriors have somehow miraculously balanced a championship team and the future because they sort of fleeced the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've got 3 picks in Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody who aren't even in the rotation, and they're still a championship contender. So they've got a present where they could win a championship, and then they've got a future with these 3 guys that, as Steve Kerr said, Kuminga is our Kawhi Leonard of his rookie year with the San Antonio Spurs, learning to be a 3-and-D guy. Wiseman hasn't even learned to play the game. Moses Moody looks like a really good defender in his very, very limited minutes. So somehow they've bridged this gap that championship teams can't do. So I don't even think they do it. I know they want a center. They need a center. They need somebody to be able to play a little backup 5. So Wiseman will be that guy. It could be somebody they trade for. Thaddeus Young is available with the San Antonio Spurs, I assume. They're probably looking for another guy like that. But I would assume that we're looking at this as a championship team. Go get anybody for sure, but I think they're looking at this a little bit longer term as well. So those are 3 guys not even in the rotation. They almost have a solid future 2 years from now, and they could win the championship without any of those guys.
All right, finally here, Lily, we'll start with you. Let's talk Raps. Pascal Siakam. Let's say he's being shopped here by Masai Ujiri. And a team that he's been linked to for a while is the Sacramento Kings, who we all feel maybe they should make a move too. And we've talked about De'Aaron Fox having a bad year and him looking sort of checked out a little bit. There's the whole Bagley situation. They would maybe move off Buddy Hield. So let's make a Raptors-Kings deal here. And there was two that I saw that were like, okay, maybe there's something there. The NBA Analysis Network. I never heard of that website, but I saw this here. Yeah. Kings receive Siakam, and the Raptors would receive Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, a 2022 first-round pick, probably top 7 protected, and then like a second-round pick. There's that. So it's a Buddy Hield, Bagley, and picks for Siakam. Or you stop overthinking it and you go Siakam for De'Aaron Fox. And maybe like Bagley and Boucher are included from both teams respectively if you want to or something like that. But at its core, it's Siakam for Fox. So the question, Lee, is should the Raptors and or the Kings be looking to trade like their star players? Their Siakam, their Fox. What do you think?
Well, I think De'Aaron Fox is the best player coming back in this scenario. But then I just look at the fit there next to him and Freddie VanVleet in the backcourt. Is that a good defensive backcourt? I know Freddie's a good player defensively. Is De'Aaron enough? I mean, they got Gary Trent basically starting there now, so he's an upgrade there. So if you want the pure talent upgrade, then I think you make that Fox move. I think it's just a little less likely that the Kings make that move first. I think if you say, all right, to the Kings, we'll give you Siakam, and we want Buddy and Marvin and that first round pick. I think the Kings are more likely to do that first. And I think Buddy would actually help the Raptors. The Raptors aren't a great 3-point shooting team. They're only 25th in the league in makes in terms of percentage. So Buddy, is going to come and help spread the floor like that. So I think that's good. I just think ultimately, though, I think you would rather have De'Aaron Fox and you're hoping to get the Fox of the last season or two, where he was a guy who really looked like he was on the way up. It might be a little bit of a clunky fit there next to Fred, but I think overall you try to make it work. But as I say, I just feel the Kings, their first move isn't going to be to trade Fox. I think they'll try to trade some of those periphery players first. If they can't get a decent bite on any of those, then maybe they consider moving on from De'Aaron Fox. But it's an interesting little thought process there to have De'Aaron Fox in Toronto, because I think he could be rejuvenated on a good team, and I think Nick Nurse would actually be a really good coach for him. So I like it if you're the Raptors. If you're prepared to give up on Pascal Siakam, you probably want to see that star quality that you get from Fox more so than Buddy and pieces in return.
Well, let's go to the Raps fan. Tass, what do you think of these?
Well, I like the NBA Analysis Network. I just checked out that website.
A lot of information, eh?
A lot of information. They break it up by divisions. They're going old school. You want your info? You go by. I'm in the Atlantic Division right now, and I'm looking at the Toronto Raptors, and I would say, no way the Raptors are trading for good pieces like Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley. They would rather trade for De'Aaron Fox.
Right.
Besides going for a star. Oh, giving up on Paskey. Maybe I'm a little attached. Maybe I'm like a GM who made his pick, and I'm loving my Paskey. But I would love De'Aaron Fox, obviously, on the Raps. I don't know. I'm like a fantasy GM. I can't give up Pascal, though. I just can't. I love him. I believe. Isn't there another way to
what
get
do you
De'Aaron
believe,
Fox?
though? What do you believe? That he's a number one player on a team?
No,
you don't.
De'Aaron Fox isn't either, though.
No, I didn't say he was. But we also have, as the Raptors, dropping the we on it.
Drop the we.
You do have OG.
We the Raptors.
And you do have Scotty Barnes on the come up. I mean, you're starting to have a lot of similar players. So maybe you go get a sort of an explosive guard to pair with VanVleet. I actually think it would work totally fine, by the way. VanVleet can play off the ball. VanVleet can shoot. And Fox is going to help you with obviously your pace and stuff like that. I think that would work. And I think the Kings should. I mean, they would probably prefer Hield and Bagley going out than Fox, but they should be very interested in Siakam if he were actually on the table, I think.
But do you think, though, Fred can play off the ball, but do you think he would like to do that? Do you think he would like to say, a guy's coming in and you're being bumped off the ball? I don't.
At a certain point, Fred VanVleet is going to break down here. So we just
trade VanVleet, right? I mean, if they trade Siakam, they're probably going to trade VanVleet as well.
Wow, that's really lean into a whole sort of rebuild. Yeah, it's possible. I just think,
who's better, De'Aaron Fox or Fred VanVleet?
Fred for me.
It should be Fox.
It's VanVleet.
Yeah.
It was Fox probably, up until as far as last season, but Fred's really overtaken him right now, and Fox just looks a shell of his former self.
Yeah.
So
does Siakam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I just if I'm Fred, he's kind of taken over now as the point guard on that team. Like Kyle's gone. If you bring in a guy and you're like, okay, we're going to actually switch you to the off-ball guard, I'm sure Fred will be fine with it, but I'm just not sure he would be in love with that idea myself.
Mm-hmm. Trey, any final thoughts on a Kings Raptors potential deal, either of these or maybe another one?
It feels like a deal could get done between these two teams, but I don't know if either of these are the perfect mix. It's probably somewhere in between, right? Like, I don't know. It feels like both teams would have a lot more moves to make. Like if Siakam goes and De'Aaron Fox comes back, you think Fred VanVleet is going to be on the move. And if you're the Kings, it's got to be Harrison Barnes is then going somewhere as well, because I don't know. There just seems like a lot of duplication for both of these teams in both of the spots they're trying to trade. They seem like they are natural partners, but it's hard to find the right mix. I do think it would be fine to move off of Siakam. This is kind of year 3 for him as the number 1 guy. Doesn't feel like a number 1 guy to me, but a quality player who will probably thrive if he's playing on a little bit better team as well, and he can settle into the number 2, 3, 4 sort of role. So I don't know. I don't know what other teams are out there, but it feels like Siakam could be on the move for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from everybody in the stream team, and let's hear your trade ideas.
Thanks for coming up with those trades, Skeets.
No, that wasn't me. It's all the NBA Analysis Network, ESPN. What did I say?
Sting.
Swarm Sting.
Swarm Sting, very dangerous.
Bleacher Report, I believe.
BR.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to everybody out there doing the work for the sickos, and people love the trade ideas. I love it, Lee. I got to say, I'm getting very excited because I do feel, I know sometimes we've said this before and nothing happens. We're getting like a good, like a Siakam level, a Fox level, a CJ McCollum level. A trade is happening. Like to that level, lock it in at some point, in the next couple, I guess, month and change here.
There's enough teams that are like, we've just got to do something here. We've got to shake things up.
For sure.
And then, so people push back in the stream team, like some of these deals, like, oh, you're just reshuffling the deck chairs. Like, yeah, you get tired of looking at that one chair. Let's get a different chair. At least it's something new to look at. Like, I get it. Like, they don't maybe move the needle to a championship level for some of these teams, but at the same time, it's like the definition of insanity, right, Lee? Like just doing the same thing over and over again. So switch it up.
GMs are just like us in fantasy, though. They sometimes just want to have that conversation, that talk, and let's say, you know what? Let's just make a trade. Let's make a deal. Let's make
because
happen.
It's their job on the line too. Let's not forget. Like you can't just sit there and do nothing if your team's like a 500 team for the last couple of years. You got to sort of swing for the fences, and it might blow up in your face, and then you're out of a job anyway. But maybe it doesn't, right? So hopefully we get some deals here.
And we're approaching December 14th when a lot of the league can be dealt.
Right. Well,
that wasn't
is it
able to be
14th or
dealt.
15th? I thought it was the 15th.
I think it's the 14th. I don't know. Let me
okay.
check.
I've been saying 15th for the last month on the show here, so I've been been telling everybody the wrong date for the last month.
I just checked.
Okay.
I just checked the Trade machine.
Well, it could be that 14th. Thing where it's December 14th at midnight.
11:59 p.m.
Or December 15th in the morning. Who knows?
January 14th. What's that? Restriction expires December 14th, 2021. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's the 15th. Until 15th.
We're both right. We're both right.
Wow.
Cool. Okay, we're going to take our final break. But, man, we have so much still left to do on this show. We got 5-Star Friday from Trey. We got Tass's tweet of the night. We got pick'em results and our picks for tonight's big game between the Suns and the Warriors. And then we got some rapid-fire fun. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, great news, guys. Podcast advertising actually works. The other day, Skeets was talking about wanting to get a Peloton after hearing Trey and Tass talk about it so much. Same. I'm in exactly the same boat. I've been curious about Peloton for a while now, but Trey, Tass, you closed the deal. I got my Peloton last week.
Woo!
I'll be honest, my fitness routine has really fallen off these past few months. I have been working a lot, but also I've just been putting it off because once you stop, it's really hard to get that momentum going again. But when the bike is literally sitting right there...
Whoa! Okay, I hope you're joining us on YouTube to see that shot right there.
Yeah, it's just right there. Look at it. It's so cute sitting there. I find it hard not jumping on it, but...
Why aren't you podcasting while sitting on it?
I know. Well, because I would get distracted by the class, because I'd like to take the classes. And I took my first class the other day. I probably made a mistake. I dove right in and did my first class live. It was a 30 minutes 90s pop ride with Emma Lovewell. I was in way over my head. She's shouting out cadence, resistance, output. I was getting high fives left and right. At one point, Emma was staring directly into my soul, mouthing the words to Love You Always and Forever by Donna Lewis. I probably should have started with something more basic, but actually, it took about 5 minutes to get with the program, and by the end, I was belting out, I don't care who you are, where you're from. I was snapping my fingers, as long as you love me. There's all bangers on that ride. Shout out to Emma Lovewell. Lee, you would have loved it.
JD,
He's loving it.
I'm
right
getting
now.
a sweat up right now.
Right?
This is great.
Man, we gotta get on this thing. Well, they don't make tandem ones yet, but that's coming. That's coming.
That's an awesome idea. Yeah.
That was a great idea. And it's not just the bike. Peloton has endless class variety to keep your workouts feeling fresh. Strength, yoga, barley, meditation, and more. Ride with coworkers and friends. Work out with interest groups like Working Moms of Peloton or Peloton Parents. And I noticed somebody started a no-dunks tag. There's one guy in it. Yeah, I was going to join it, but I wasn't sure if it's related to the show or not. He might just be anti-dunk. But Fat Pat Wert 38. Let us know. Maybe we'll take a ride together. Maybe we should start a club or something with all our Peloton people out there. Anyways, visit onepeloton.com to learn more. Try Peloton classes free for the rest of the year. New members only. Visit onepeloton.com/app to learn more. Terms apply. Peloton, when your workout is a joy, it's a joy to work out.
Well, I hope you like singing, because I can't stop thinking about Lee's Allbirds read from yesterday. He mentioned that he likes his Allbirds wool runners so much that he bought himself a second pair. And I don't know if you knew this, Lee, that is a rap song. Give Lee 2 purrs, Lee needs 2 purrs, so Lee can get to stomping in his Allbirds shoes. Big Lee get to stomping in his Allbirds shoes. N-E-L-L-Y, old and busted. N-E-L-L-E-I-G-H, that's the new hotness. If you want to get like Chuck G League, go to allbirds.com. and peep all their styles. They got the classic wool runner, the dashing wool pipers, and the new fluff collection. All make great gifts that keep you comfortable wherever your feet take you. When the weather outside is frightful, try the Mizzle collection. Keeps your feet dry and warm with cozy merino wool, no-slip grip, and puddle guard technology. Everything is machine washable, so your birds stay fresh and clean no matter how often you wear them. Allbirds offers free shipping and free returns with delivery in time for the holidays, so give comfort and feel joy this holiday season. Find your own pair or one to gift at allbirds.com. That's all spelled, all birds spelled birds.com. Allbirds.com.
Back with the No Dunks Drop podcast. It's the first Friday of the month, which means it's time for some 5-Star Friday fun. Very exciting, TK. What do you got?
Oh, yeah. First Friday of the month, we read your best 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You had your time in the sun with that Spotify rep, but we're talking about 5-star reviews here. Our first one comes from Mirko Rossonero, NBA Fun, it is titled. This Dinkers crew just delivers classics. Come for the basketball chat, stay for the random topic rambling. Lee is the master. Agreed. Once in a while, JD drops a dime. Trey Kirby cheers up Bulls fans and fishermen everywhere. Tass hits you with the quote, and J.E. Skeets commands the action or simply cracks up laughing. Gold! Also expanding the content variety. Yeah, we did that. Thank you, Mirko. 5-star review. That's a good one. Moving on to our next review. This one comes from Ben is Cooking. I'm back! Ben is Cooking of Twitter infamy here. The Fast Friends series brought me back to the show. Hashtag free Matty-O. Proud of you guys. Hey, Ben, thanks for coming back, man. Is Bennis Cooking part of the Tweet of the Week Army, Lee?
Yeah, I don't know what the infamy is. Is that maybe that's it? He was just on the shout outs every week. I'm not sure. But welcome back. Welcome back, Benny. Good
Back
to
in
have
the
you.
kitchen. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, Ben is cooking and he's back. The Ben is back. And I also like the title of that one. Like Han, you thought I was dead. Okay, our next one. I love this podcast. 5 stars. Still my favorite basketball podcast to this day, 10 years later. I think
Respect.
that's a funny line. But my question to you, the writer of this review was no truck stops.
Right?
Do we ever have like truck stop jokes? I didn't. That one kind of threw me for a curveball when I saw it. I was like, huh, no truck stops.
No, I can't remember anything. The only thing that comes close is we once talked about the Loves patch on the Oklahoma
Okay.
State Thunder
Sure,
jerseys.
sure.
But I mean, I don't even know. Is that a truck stop or is that more just like a convenience store? I don't even really know.
Good question. That's why we're no truck stops. We have no
Yeah.
idea.
No,
And none of us have a truck at this point. Our next one comes from McNewman, 28, 5 stars, the best basketball podcast, the OG and still the best basketball podcast. Need I say more? No, you don't, but you did. Love that you're expanding into other areas and can't wait for y'all to cover disc sports.
Wow.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Super fun. What's a discus? That's a disc sport.
Yeah.
I mean, frisbee.
I think it's time
Ultimate
for frisbee
frisbee.
golf, though.
Yeah. Frisbee golf.
Oh,
disc
frisbee
yeah.
golf. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
That's
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
Actually, at our all-star party in Charlotte, one of our fans there, he was a coach of frisbee golf at a
that's
college. College frisbee golf coach. A professional. He got paid to coach frisbee golf,
Incredible.
where people got scholarships to go play frisbee golf. Amazing. But I think it's one of those sports that it's fun to play, but not really fun to talk about, I'd say. You know, I don't know if we're gonna be looking at the leaderboard, wondering if number 9 is gonna catch number 1. It's just one of those. Nah. But frisbee golf is an amazing sport to play.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Tass and I, we once played one of the most beautiful courses in the world on some island in British Columbia. I'm not even kidding.
No, it's
Part
Victoria.
of,
yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's where we were.
That's why I love it so much, because other than seeing, one of those little golf cones and throwing it in, my first course that I played, if that's what you call it,
Right.
was spectacular.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were in the woods, Lee. Like, it was legit amazing. And, like, the other courses for the most part are, like, in a park. And, like, maybe you got to go around one tree. But we were, like, full on in the woods. It was, like, carved out like a golf course. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was spectacular. It was beautiful. It was a rough terrain. It was a rough course.
Yeah,
and
up and down, yeah.
And our man, Ken Angeles, who's just had a baby,
Yep.
that man was playing in flip-flops because he does everything in flip-flops. But, he survived. I don't know how he did. You got to wear cleats playing frisbee golf, right? Wow. No, I don't think so.
You don't have to. You just should maybe wear flip-flops when you're climbing up and down mountains, but it didn't stop him from playing for sure.
Well, you're welcome, McNewman. You got a little disc sport coverage for you right there, but I think a solid point by AJ Santiago here in the stream team, who says Lee could never be on no discs. How else is he going to store all of his vacation pictures?
Yeah. Right.
All right, our final 5-star review comes from us, PD Trueblood. Fantastic Alf reboot is the title. A hilarious, faithful, yet inventive reboot of the beloved 80s alien out of water sitcom. Basketball, quote unquote, personalities task JD, Skeets, and Trey do their darndest to hide an Alf, alien life form, called Lee from the government to save him from the inevitable tests and painful probings. The gang goes to great lengths to teach their bespectacled alien to act like a real human, catching Lee amid classic alien hijinks, like sitting backwards on the toilet, unironically wearing cargo shorts, and lusting after overripe bananas. Let's hope Lee doesn't go back to Melmac, Australia anytime soon. 5 intergalactic stars. Thank you for that one, PD Trueblood. I've never seen Lee eat a cat.
No.
That's not
Doesn't mean he
saying
hasn't. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Lee, did you ever watch Elf?
Oh, wow. Where are we here?
Back to Melmac.
I don't know what happened there. If that
Well,
was me or
you're
you.
back. We can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. Alf was in the news recently for something I remember seeing. It was like the number one show on TV in the
Alf
80s
was
when
in
something
the
happened.
news?
I remember seeing it. I used to watch it.
Wait. What? It was the number one show in the 80s when something happened?
Yeah.
Talking about?
I can't remember now. But I just remember thinking like, oh yeah, I used to watch Alf. Didn't think it had number one rating written all over it, but I guess that can happen, in the TV world. You just strike it lucky there.
I loved Elf. Anytime you got to see Elf's feet was a big episode. I remember that was like as a kid, like, wow, my God.
I've never seen Lee's feet either.
Walk around. What's that?
We've never seen Lee's feet either.
That's a good point.
Rarely get to see
Let's
him.
stand up. This would be like an awesome Elf episode. Let's see your legs and your feet. Your legs are as hairy as Elf's. Oh, jeez. Okay. All right.
Could
Great
this
stuff.
be true? Could this be true, Lee, from Oscar McGillicuddy, who said the Berlin Wall fell and Alf was number one? Is this news?
That I think is it, because I was in Berlin in the summer, and I think there is that correlation there. So yes, I think that's right.
Nice.
Thank you. Who was that? Oscar.
Oscar.
Oh, great name, Oscar. Well done, son.
Wow, we got it. Good stuff. All right. Thank you for the reviews, guys. Keep them coming on Apple Podcasts. I think you can also leave reviews on Spotify. Is that true? I keep hearing that. I don't know if that's the case.
I'm going to leave one right now.
Keep dropping them, and we really appreciate it. And we'll do another 5-star Friday fun when we get into the new year in 2022, early January. Okay, let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
All right. Nerd alert. Tweet of the night has to do with the actual day of this tweet, December 2nd, 2021, yesterday. Michelle Kessel informed the world that when December 2nd is written out in the date format, year, month, day, 2021, 12/02, not only is the date a palindrome, the same back and forth, it's also an ambigram. You can read it left to right, right to left, and also upside down.
Whoa.
That's pretty freaking cool. Also works month, day, year, if that's how you prefer
Right.
your format, 12/02/2021. Love the palindrome, but the ambigram. It's you don't see that very often.
No.
I think it wasn't going too deep, but I believe the last time this happened was a decade ago, or maybe 20 years ago. I don't know. Wasn't going to go that far, but very, very cool. Also very cool. Going back to basketball, our man Nav Bhatia, super fan.
Mm-hmm.
He is having a biopic made of him.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. He's got a story to tell, Skeets. Kal Penn is going to produce and star in Nav Bhatia's biopic, a movie about Nav Bhatia.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It is
Kal
very
Penn was
cool.
sitting courtside at the Knicks game last night
He
too.
was.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah. And this came out yesterday. A super fan Nav Bhatia put it up on his gram, and he's not lying. So, there's a movie by Kal Penn starring and producing it. A lot of cool things happening yesterday. Also, Alf was number one when the Berlin Wall came down.
Let's not forget about Elf. I guess we'll be doing oh
There
my
he is.
God. Look at
The
those.
old feller.
Look at those
Wow.
dogs. Yeah.
Shows.
That was a great show. Elf was great.
I was surprised how short-lived it was. It was only
Yeah.
4, 5
Felt like it
seasons.
was on a decade.
Yeah, because it was that good.
It was
But I think you were going to say, Skeets, we're going to do a film session on Nav Bhatia's
Oh, hell yeah.
biopic, no doubt.
No, 100%.
Is it called Superfan? Am I reading the headline right, or are they just referring to him as the Superfan?
I think they're just referring to him, but let's
Okay.
bring it back up, JD, if you don't mind, so we can parse it a little bit.
No, not
Oh, maybe it's called Superfan. Maybe
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. It looks
yeah,
like it.
nice.
because that's a good name for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can't wait to watch it, Nav, and we'll have you
cool
on to
if it
talk
was like
about it,
a-
because you're
like
the
a-
best. A former...
An Elf cameo in the new movie.
He's been in the news a lot recently, so very timely.
Well, maybe there's a scene where like Nav Bhatia is watching Elf when he was growing up. And He got excited about his feet. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Cool. Great tweets there, Tass. Let's get to pick 'em results from last night. It was the Bulls-Knicks game. Tass was the only one to take New York at home in Madison Square Garden, and they were the dogs, so they got a little wiggle room. It was close, very, very close, but the Bulls covered. That's a win for me. It's a win for Lee. It's a win for Trey, who's perfect in the month of December. And Tass falls to 1-1. So 3 of us are 1-1 here early. Lots of games on tonight. I already told you the game, everyone. We're doing Suns Warriors. But Tass, what's the line on this bad boy?
It's a monster of a line. You'd expect it to be a lot closer than 6.5 is where it started. The Warriors now favored by 7, but our line's going to be 6.5 at home to the Phoenix Suns. And so it's a difficult pick, and that's why we have a Splitsville. Trey and myself are taking the Warriors to win by 7 or more, while Skeets and Lee get that nice 6.5 point pad. Or the Suns can win, obviously.
Right. I mean, I just couldn't. I couldn't pick against a team that's won 18 straight, and that is giving up 6.5.
Yeah.
Like that's
Big line.
That's big. But who knows? I mean, the Warriors could blow it up too.
I'm sort of half expecting like a Steph Curry 45-point revenge game here, but there's never, surely in the history of the NBA, a team that's won 18 straight had gone into their next game 6.5.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Underdogs.
Devin Booker's absence a part of that.
Yeah, back to back,
third and fourth nights, all that.
Yeah, back to back, and the Warriors, their last 10 at home, I believe, have been wins by double digits or more. So, but yeah, this is the Suns. So let's hope for a close game.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely for Lee and I, so I can get another win. I got a rare win last night. I was very happy about the Bulls covering. That was a nice change for me. It's been a while. All right, well, we're going to wrap up this Drop podcast with a little rapid fire fun. Lee, you got the questions this week. What do you got, man?
Yes, I do. This week, the NBA gave a slap on the wrist to the Bulls and the Heat for tampering violations. It was a minor punishment for a crime the league claims to take seriously. Describe a time you feared you had done something wrong only to get away with it pretty much unscathed. Skeety.
I believe I've shared this story before, but I was working at a company, a production company, when I was in Toronto. And they asked me to move this giant RV. And I didn't have my driver's license at the time and had only driven like a handful of times. And I was like, okay, I'll do it, but I'm not all that comfortable doing it. My buddy Brody was supposed to be my eyes. Like, this thing was a boat. It was a really gigantic RV. I had never driven one of these. Anyway, I'm trying to park it, and Brody's yelling at me to keep it coming, but then I can't see him in my mirrors. I backed this thing up into a car and crunched the front of the car, and I'm freaking out because I'm like, well, I mean, I don't even have my license. Like, I'm screwed. The company's screwed. And in the end, nothing happened. Like, they left a note on the car. Like, it wasn't terribly damaged, but it was hit. I mean, it was a boat that I backed up into it. So there was damage to the front of the car, and nothing came from it. So yeah, that was it.
It must happen a lot where they're just like, yeah, this happens. Just leave a note, and insurance company will deal with it, I suppose.
Yeah, I was like, I told you I didn't have my driver's license, and I've never driven one of these things. I don't know why you wanted me to do this, but yeah, it was okay.
Nice. That fit the description perfectly. Nice little slap on the wrist right there. I was at an Atlanta Braves game a couple of years back, and the game was over. Trying to grab an Uber, was on the road, saw the Uber, matched it to my app, saw it, and it was driving by. So I got my run on. I started sprinting, and a cop yelled at me because I crossed an intersection. He screamed, "Get over here! Get back over here!" Because they are extremely tight around Braves Stadium about where you can walk. And so, yeah, there's definitely a pickup and drop off area. Anyways, a cop yelled at me and screamed at me. So I went right back where I came from. I just turned around and walked back, and he yelled and screamed at me because I crossed the street and I wasn't within the barrier or whatever. So I walked around, and he got it right up in my grill. And I was worried there for a sec. I thought I was getting cuffed, or at least, I don't know, some sort of punishment. But other than smelling his horrible breath, nothing happened to me. So it was a quick. He just wanted me to follow the rules, which I had no idea about. But those drop-off stations, those drop-off spots, like who cares? Just get in a car and go. I
Yeah,
hate
let me get out of here. Yeah, let me alleviate some
so
of the
dumb.
traffic.
It takes so long to leave the Battery. The area around Brave Stadium takes forever. But anyway.
What did his breath smell like? Anything in particular, or just general halitosis?
Yeah, probably halitosis. It's just like nothing had been entered there for a while.
Yeah.
Just old.
It wasn't. At least it wasn't like a hot dog with onions and garlic and pickle. You're just like, get away from me. I'd rather pay the
You
fine.
wouldn't rather smell actually food on somebody's breath and not just like gnarly bad breath?
There's nothing nice, is there? There's nothing nice.
But
to
if you have
smell.
to pick between one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred a hot dog.
Yeah,
I was pretty hungry
probably,
at the time. I would ask,
yeah.
"Where'd you get that?"
At least like one smells like death in somebody's mouth. The other smells like food. I mean, even if it's gross. Yeah.
Good distraction technique there, Tassie. Hey, where'd you get that from? That looks awesome, man. You know, you sort of pump his tires up.
Did you have a hot dog?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that hot dog, sir?
Oh, I love hot peppers too.
Trey.
Mine is also car and cop related. Every time I drive by a police officer, I assume I'm going to get pulled over. So I get a tight butthole just staring in the rearview mirror until there's a clear horizon. Where Laura grew up, where her parents still live, they have private security officers. I got pulled over for running a stop sign there once. I'm sure that'll shock you, Skeets. You've been in the car with me getting pulled over for running a stop sign. They're more of a suggestion in my book, but Laura, I stopped. I paid the $25 fine for whatever, being in their subdivision and not stopping at their stop sign. And she's like, they can't actually get you in trouble, right? If they ever try to pull you over, just keep driving. So I was a little nervous. The next time it happened, next time I ran a stop sign, woo, 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 I hear the lights, but I could see the exit. I was like, this is it. I got to go for it. I'm making a run here. I exit Lake Holiday. I make a turn onto the road. Lights out. And away we go. Driving back home. I was like, great tip, Laura. Great tip. Don't stop for these fake cops.
Yeah, I was in the car when you got pulled over for rolling through the stop sign. This guy, Trey Kirby, generally a happy, jolly guy. It was like you were so pissed off with this cop, and you definitely did not stop at the stop sign.
Definitely. Yeah, 100% deserved the ticket. Kind of, man. I wasn't causing any problems there. There were no other cars around. We didn't put anybody in jeopardy. We just wanted to record a classic.
Yeah, you were just like so put out with the officer. I was like, whoa. He was like, oh, God. Yeah, here's my registration. Yeah, here. He was like, how many times has this happened to you? It felt like you had done it 100 times. Like, here we go again.
Yep.
Yeah.
We moved to our new house over the summer. There's a stop sign by a school, like right at the corner you turn to go towards our house. As we were moving, I told Laura, I'm like, I'm going to get a ticket here for sure. If we live here for more than 5 years, I guarantee I'm rolling that stop sign. What do you do? Stop? Yeah, sure. I suppose you could
stop
for 1 second, but I'm always in a hurry. You know me.
Okay, next one. On Wednesday, Drake was spotted courtside at an Oklahoma City Thunder game. His reason for being there was unknown. I once spotted Pink, the singer, at a playground in London, along with Australian actress Beck Cartwright. And then I also saw another celebrity. He was in his environment there. There's one that we all know.
You think that's going to make the movie?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I'm wearing his ring there, so I hope so. That's Nav Bhatia for the listening audience. But anyway, guys, tell me about the weirdest place you have seen or experienced and encountered a celebrity in person.
Mine,
Skeet, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure I've shared it before a long time ago, but I'll keep this short and sweet. I took a piss beside David Stern.
I'm so jealous.
Right there. Urinal to urinal. Just, sir, hello? So that's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm not even going to go into the whole story again. I've told the story
don't need to. Yeah. Tass.
Well, I had another celebrity, but you just reminded me of a urinal story I had. Had one beside Doug Flutie in a casino on a Friday night when the Buffalo Bills, who he was playing for, were playing the Miami Dolphins on Sunday in Miami. And this was in the greater Toronto area. This was in, I guess it was Niagara Falls. And he was on Friday, 2 days before the game, not in the city he was playing in. But that's because Rob Johnson stole his job as the starter of the Buffalo Bills.
You saw Doug Flutie's Rob Johnson? It's in Flutie?
He robbed his Johnson of his starting spot. That should have never happened, and I told Doug that, and he didn't wash his hands, FYI.
Oh,
That's 100% true. Not a rinse, not a nothing.
Hey, I think
Stern did, by the way.
I think Matty O actually still has the best person he's pissed next to. It was Ludacris here in Atlanta at one time. Remember, he took Slash next to him. So Trey, I'm going to just change it up here. Who's the most famous person you've taken a piss next to?
No one, man. I've never pissed next to anybody famous. I mean, television's J.E. Skeets, Tass Millis, Lee Ellis, Matt Austin, and Jason Doyle. Piss next to those guys sometimes. There's a great picture.
I've got it somewhere.
There's a great picture of me, Skeets, and Matt taking a piss together in the bathroom. And we're lined up in perfect high order. Bars in more places. My answer was going to be quarterback related, though. Tass and I saw Matt Ryan at the Botanical Gardens last year. He was there to see the holiday lights. It was like my first time out in public after the pandemic. We're outside. Saw a celebrity, Matt Ryan. I was a little proud to actually recognize him with his mask on, but I had to go and check to make sure it was him on his wife's Instagram. But she put up a story. It was him. He was having a great time at the trains.
Oh. JD, any one of you taking a Slash next to you want to brag about while we're on it? Or?
Not really. I try to not pee beside people in general, nobody.
That's
I took an
stage fright?
elevator ride with.
What's the reason?
What's that?
Stage fright? Yeah.
Oh yeah, like 100%. Like if David Stern was next to me, there's no way I'd be pissing. I'd stand there and say, "Hello, how are you?" Blah blah blah.
It's a lot weirder.
Pretend to shake, zip up, walk out, and just go to the next bathroom that I can find.
All right. Okay. Last one here. The Phoenix Suns are on a franchise record 18-game win streak right now. So, guys, tell me, what is a current streak of your own that you've got going on? Skeetsy.
Yeah, this one's really, really weird. I asked Nora, help me out with this answer. Like, what's a weird streak I got going? And she said, wearing that dumb toque you bought when you were in Arizona. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you've worn it every day, at least in the morning when you take the dog out to go to the washroom. It was the photo that actually Trey showed us yesterday. Yeah, there it is. And I was like, what? You're not a fan of this? Look. She is not. Doesn't care for the toque in general. But anyway, I've got a great streak going since I bought it at a Walmart in Arizona because it was going to be a little cold on some of the hikes. Every day, at least every morning, I've thrown that on when you take the dog out when it's a little brisk in the morning. So,
Do you cover your ears or are you going tall style?
No, never.
You got it. Wow.
He's got it. This is a real Lee Ellis move. Having it prop right there.
Yeah.
It's tough with the headphones.
It sort of looks a bit like an oven mitt, actually. I don't know if it's...
That's sort of a cool look.
Yeah.
Looks like Trey's old haircut. Beret.
It does.
Yeah.
There it is. Sorry, Nora.
Headphones.
Tass, what's a streak you got going on right now?
Well, November, I followed a workout plan via my friends at Peloton to help me stay accountable. I need a plan to help me stay accountable. So I'm doing another one in December. I'm trying to work out every day through my friend Robin Arson, who is following a workout plan. This is me done Monday or December the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd here. If you're following along with Robin NYC on Instagram, hashtag 3for31. Now, some people are running 3 miles a day or 5 kilometers a day for 31 days. If you're not into the running, you can do just 30 minutes of movement every day. So, yeah, I just like the check done state of accountability that's helped out. So that's my tracker. If you want to join me, come have some fun with Robin Arson. And I'm joining. I've joined the No Dunks hashtag that we have on Peloton.
Oh, wow. Ooh,
Fat Patwork 38 started it.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if he's a fan of No Dunks at all, but doesn't matter. We're taking over. We've got 5 members so far.
5 members already? Wow.
Yeah. The
Cool.
Blue Spirit, Moving Mass, Jeff Dittman, and Fat Patwork, and myself.
JD's not on
Where
there
are you,
yet.
JD? Where are you, Trey?
Come on, JD.
I'm not. I'm still not sure if it's real or not. Tass Malice or not.
We're taking it over.
I can't be a part of a bootleg No Dunks endeavor. No, thank you. Not until I hear from Pat. What's his name? Fat Patwork.
Pat.
Fat
38.
Patwork 38. Yeah. He's from Toronto, so
Yeah, so that sort of makes me think, okay, maybe, but
Yep.
also maybe not. I don't know.
No, it's real. I think this is a real no dunks team here that you guys got going on Peloton. And I got to get one just to get in. Can't wait.
Not an ad. Not an ad.
No. I mean, the amount of times we talk about them, they should send us one for sure.
Share it around.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take it for a week. Then Lee can borrow it for a week. It's like we did with our the award we won. Who's left? TK, take us home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 2-day streak of eating peppermint bark. I'm going 3 for 31 though. I'm eating one every day this month. Peppermint bark is the best holiday sweet out there, the best holiday spice out there. Pumpkin spice is for the fools. Peppermint bark is for the cools. Yeah, Laura bought me an advent calendar that was filled with Williams and Sonoma peppermint bark. I'm feeling luxe around here. Oh, so good, so rich, a little cool. You know,
This guy loves it.
Oh, I love it. I ate my peppermint bark, my Williams and Sonoma out of the calendar when the girls get home from school. We all go through our advent calendars. Then I got my own stash of Trader Joe's peppermint bark as well.
Wow.
I'm going to all of the different peppermint forests, stripping the bark from their trees, chowing down.
Okay. Awesome. A fantastic final answer.
It's fun. It's fun. I just threw out all my pumpkin spice stuff because I'm ready to eat. That's why I'm working out.
Yeah.
Because you got to eat.
Smart,
You got to eat.
smart.
It's a lot of good food. Yeah. Including tonight for the No Dunks Christmas dinner. Can't wait, Lily, for all that. Well, we're only getting mussels, I guess we decided, right?
It's all right. It'll
All
be
we're
worth
eating.
it. Yeah.
Just a vat of mussels for everybody. All right, let's call it there. That is Rapid Fire. That's another Drop podcast. That's another classic, if we're being honest. Thanks to everybody that joined us in the stream team. Shout out to everybody listening later as well. I saw somebody say, you call everybody that joins you live on YouTube the stream team. What about the people that listen? Are they the pod squad?
Oh,
It's not bad.
That's
Pretty good. So shout out to the pod squad too on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to No Dunk. Just make sure you're subscribed. We'll be back on Monday, of course, to hit you with our NBA weekend winners and losers. So we'll see you then live at 10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube. Keep your questions coming. NoDunks@theathletic.com. Hit us up on Twitter at NoDunksInc. You can leave your comments in the YouTube section, in the YouTube comments below this video if you want. Go to NoDunks.com for your No Dunks merch and get yourself an athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/NoDunks. Fun show to end the week. We'll see you guys in a couple of hours at a fine establishment here in Atlanta. Can't wait to have some fun with you guys tonight. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, have yourself a great weekend.
Embrace the weekend, people.
You could stay